So yesterday I received two of Samsung's latest folding phones. A lot of people are waiting for this, and Samsung says that a lot more people this time around are going to be into foldable phones. Let's see how true this is. This is my first impressions video. Let's get it started with the Flip. Now if you guys want to go straight to the fold, skip to the timestamp right here, and that'll take you straight there. My SIM card is inside the Flip 3 because I personally think this one is the one to go for. The Flip 3 feels amazing in the hand, and thank God we don't need to worry about having disgusting fingerprints all over the phone like the previous Z Flip 2, or technically Z Flip 1 because there wasn't really a 2, unless you count the 5G model as number 2. Samsung, your marketing sucks. Now, obviously, I should kind of tell you guys, if you don't want fingerprints, the matte, the matte black, phantom black color is the one you should go for. It doesn't really show that many fingerprints, but still a lot less than the ones that are glossy and very slippery. So yes. The cover display on the Galaxy Z Flip 3 is also something that immediately caught my eye. It is much better than the last Flip 2 or Flip 1, whatever you want to call it. It's so much better. The original one, the screen was so tiny that you couldn't do anything. The funny thing is, you could still use it as a camera viewfinder, hilariously somehow, but the only thing you saw in that viewfinder was your nose. That's it. It was that small. It was bad. This time around, not only is it bigger, but you can actually kind of see a lot more information, such as the weather. You can see the music playing, for example, if you're playing Spotify. You could also add another widget such as today's schedule, alarm, to the Samsung Health, the timer, so on and so forth. Here's a little pro tip for you guys. Do not leave it on full brightness because it is like too bright. Like this display at night, dude, it can almost light up a room. Keep it at like 25%. You'll save battery and it's still very visible. The inside display of the Galaxy Z Flip 3 has now gotten 80% tougher according to Samsung, but not only is it tougher, it's this time around it actually looks and feels like a real glass display. You don't get that weird, disgusting, smudgy feel like you did with the previous Flip. It feels like any other display that I've used on any normal phone, like this iPhone here or the Pixel. It just feels like a normal display. I love that. The one thing I hated about the previous Flip phone was the lack of stereo speakers. Anytime you watched anything on the Galaxy Flip 1 or Flip 2, even though I still agree there's no number 2, it sounded very lackluster. The volume was barely there because there was only one little mono speaker, and anytime you watched YouTube, anything, whatever, you listening to music, it just sounded very bad. This time around, the Z Flip 3 does have stereo speakers. They sound good, they sound great, just as any other phone with stereo speakers. It's a huge difference. When you go from stereo speakers to a single speaker, it ain't good, trust me. Now, thanks to the new hinge design, there's more areas of which you can leave the display. It just kind of sticks to no matter which position you put it to, even all the way here. Now, why would you want to leave your phone like this? I don't know. I'm just a messenger. You can do this. That's the point. And if you want, you can literally leave it like this. So there's a lot more availability in where you can leave that display. The phone is now water resistant, the same as on the Flip or the Fold 3. Water resistance, still no dust resistance, but on the flip side, get it? I'm lame. On the flip side, there is little brushes inside the hinge to help keep things like dust and dirt, debris out of the phone. Now, looking at the back of the phone, the thing I really appreciate is that there is no camera bump. Call me crazy, but I really miss this look. There's no weird, crazy design, no crazy bar across the entire phone, none of this happening. It's a very simple, elegant design. My God, I really miss this right here. So to sum up my first impressions of the Flip, it's fantastic. It feels like a full phone with not as many compromises that it used to have. It's water resistant, the screen is tougher, the outside display has gotten bigger, it's got dual speakers. That's not a bad upgrade at all. The one thing I don't like immediately, and I've realized this the second I took the phone out of the box, right? The volume controls are way high up on the phone, man. You gotta be some big old basketball player to be reaching that while holding the phone normally. because I still got about an inch left if I want to reach this with the way I normally hold the phone. It is crazy. Samsung, here's a good question. Why couldn't you move the volume keys to this side? Literally, right across the power button is where the volume keys should be. That's it. Very simple. Why couldn't you do that? Why? It's not like there's anything, oh, there's a SIM card here and the 5G antenna. Okay, move the 5G antenna to this side and then take the volume from here, put it here. Boom. If you do take my idea, I'm just asking for like 50K. That's it. So I guess this is now the time to talk about the Fold 3. And I think a lot of people are more excited about this phone than the Flip. For me, it's the exact opposite. The Fold is amazing. It's like a computer. I need like 4 hours to fully talk about this phone, but thankfully this is a first impressions video, so I'll make it short. So this time around, both displays, the outside and inside display, are 120 Hz, which does keep things unified. I like that. Thank you, Samsung, because prior to this, you were using the Galaxy Fold 2. You had 120 Hz on that big, beautiful display, but then whenever you closed it, you're back to 60 Hz. It seems like it was almost an afterthought. The hinge on the Galaxy Fold 3 has also been improved. There's also more areas in which you can leave the phone folded or unfolded. As I've already mentioned, it is water resistance, but again, no dust resistance. But then again, it has those weird little brushes. So hopefully they do something. The camera on the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is literally the same as on the Flip, but it does include one extra focal length, which is the 2x zoom. So if you guys need that extra little bit of reach, optical reach whenever you are shooting a photo or video, the Fold is the way to go. The Fold 3 also had a major body redesign. It is now thinner than a previous Fold. The camera bump looks better in my opinion, and again, no more nasty, disgusting fingerprints. But I will say this, the Phantom Black on the Fold 3 is more slippery than the Phantom Black on the S21 Ultra. I don't know why. Samsung? Why? Why make a foldable phone more slippery than a non-foldable phone? Now, from the way they look, they're basically identical. Like if I angle them properly, right there, they're basically identical, but they feel completely different. I mean, I can straight away tell you guys, I don't know if it's just my fingers that are weird, but they just feel different. This is way more slippery. But I'm pretty sure most of you who have a brain are going to be using a case, because who doesn't use a case on a $1,800 foldable phone? But let's not forget about the under display camera, which actually does a great job at hiding. It's still visible when you're looking for it, but when you're normally using the phone, you just basically never see it. The screen does get incredibly bright from both of the Flip and the Fold. I mean, it gets really bright. You should have absolutely no issues looking at them either inside the house or outside in the full sun. Man, do they get bright. The Fold is great to use in one hand, but I feel like as much as I like to use the phone, I just feel like it's not the best that it can be, basically is what I'm saying. The Flip, on the other hand, in my opinion, is a more polished product, because when it's open, it's a phone that me and you know, right? There's nothing crazy about it. It's a phone that me and you already know. We already know this kind of layout. We know how typing works. We know how watching movies work. We know how everything works. But on the Fold, it's like when you want to use it one-handed, you're going to obviously want to use the cover display. But if you do use the cover display, it is so narrow still that typing on it is super uncomfortable. Using it just using it is very uncomfortable, because if you're using this one-handed, dude, you're not going to be reaching the entire screen because it's so tall and narrow. So my expectations for the next Fold is to make it just a little bit shorter, but make it wider. So that way, whenever you do open it, right, it's going to be a much larger display because it's going to be a little bit more wider. But not only that, the actual cover display will also be wider, and you can actually use the phone more comfortably without having to open it. That's kind of what I want from this phone, because in the way that it is now, especially that it's not unified because this side of the bezel is thicker than this side of the bezel. It just looks like it's not fully ready yet, but it's on the right track. So when it comes to battery life of both of these insane phones, I don't know yet. It hasn't been that long yet. The phone is still trying to get used to me, but my main SIM card is inside the Flip, and battery life so far is I have to use it a little bit more for the phone to figure me out, and then to change its settings or whatever to make the battery better. That usually happens after a couple days. So guys, give me a couple days to really use the phone, for it to really know my usage, and then I will let you guys know about the battery. But so far, not, you know, it's okay. So guys, if you'll excuse me, I now have to play with two phones so I can do a review on two phones, possibly a camera comparison. I'm still trying to figure that part out. So yeah, I'm gonna be busy. So this was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.